Ever wished you could ditch the 9 to 5, make a living doing what you love? Well, today, we're going deep on a story that just might convince you it's possible.
Okay.
We're looking at this grind success video about Nick Buzz.
Okay.
This designer is not only making over $1.2 million a year,
Wow.
but doing it all anonymously. Talking about breaking the mold.
Yeah, it's certainly a unique approach, isn't it, in a world obsessed with personal branding.
Right.
Nick's story really makes you wonder if staying hidden can actually be an advantage.
It's like he's the Banksy of the design world.
Yeah.
But let's rewind to the beginning, because this guy's journey is anything but conventional.
Okay.
Nick grew up in India.
Mm-hmm.
And let's face it, there's a ton of pressure to follow those traditional career paths.
Oh, absolutely.
Like engineering or medicine.
Yeah. In many cultures, creative fields are often seen as just hobbies, not viable career options. So it'll be interesting to see how Nick navigated those expectations.
He definitely faced pushback, especially from his dad. His dad was a police officer.
Okay.
Can you imagine the dinner table conversations?
Oh, yeah.
Some of those computer graphics are fun, but
Right.
they won't pay the bills.
It's a classic struggle for anyone who's ever dared to chase a passion outside the norm.
Totally.
So how did Nick handle that pressure?
Well, he basically said, "Dad, I hear you, but I'm going for it."
Wow.
He was determined to make a career out of design and animation, even if it meant going against the grain.
Good for him.
So this is where it gets really interesting. He dove headfirst into the world of online design contests,
Okay.
spending months grinding away, entering over 200 of them.
Wow, 200 contests. That's commitment. While it's great to see that level of dedication, I have to say, solely relying on contests can be a risky strategy. You're at the mercy of, subjective judging, and the competition can be fierce.
And for Nick, those early days were rough.
Yeah.
He spent 6 months pouring his heart into these contests and came up completely empty-handed.
Oof.
No wins, no money.
Just a whole lot of rejection. You have to wonder how much rejection one person can take.
That's the point where many would give up, especially with the added pressure from family and friends probably saying, "I told you so."
Right. Resilience is key in those early stages of building a career.
You're so right. But Nick, he had this fire in him,
Yeah.
this stubborn refusal to quit. He decided to give it one more shot.
Okay.
And this time, something clicked. His family was out for the evening. He was at home, probably fueled by coffee and pure determination, when, bam, he won his first contest.
There's nothing quite like that first win, is there?
No.
It's a validation of your skills, a sign that you're on the right track. Even a $200 prize can feel like $1 million at that stage.
Oh, absolutely. But let's be real. His parents were probably still like, "Okay, that's nice, but can you actually make a living from this?"
Right, the classic parental skepticism.
Yeah.
That skepticism, while often frustrating, can actually be a motivator. It pushes you to prove yourself, to turn that initial spark of success into something sustainable.
And that's exactly what Nick did. This win was like a catalyst. He was 17 years old, brimming with confidence, but also realizing that staying in India might mean constantly battling those doubts. So he made a bold decision. He moved to Canada.
Wow, at 17.
Yeah?
That's a huge leap of faith. Speaks volumes about his ambition and his willingness to take risks. But I imagine a move like that also came with a whole new set of challenges.
Oh, definitely. Imagine landing in a new country, trying to establish yourself in the design. He sent out hundreds of resumes, but got 0 responses. His savings dwindled down to practically nothing. There's even this story about him not having enough money to pay for a haircut
Oh, no.
and having to call his dad in India for help.
Wow, talk about hitting rock bottom. That's a humbling experience. But it also shows the reality of building a career from scratch. There are going to be those moments of doubt, those financial struggles. It's about how you respond to those challenges that defines your success.
This moment was a turning point for Nick. It lit a fire under him, and he vowed to never be in that position again. And just when things seemed bleakest, opportunity knocked.
This is where things get really interesting. What happened?
Picture this. A developer stumbles across Nick's work online.
Okay.
He sees something special, some raw talent, and decides to introduce Nick to a client. Boom. Nick lands his first real gig.
Ah, the power of networking, even in the digital age.
Right?
It's a great reminder that putting your work out there, even if it's just online, can open doors you never expected.
For sure. And get this, he earned $3,200 for just 2 days of work.
That's more than many seasoned designers make. Talk about a confidence boost and a validation of his skills.
Right?
It just shows that even without a fancy degree or years of experience, talent can shine through.
Like that first taste of success just fueled his fire even more.
Yeah.
And guess what? The client was so impressed, they kept him on for 3.5 years,
Wow.
bringing in a steady income of almost $90,000 a year.
Talk about hitting the jackpot. That kind of stability is a dream for any
Oh, I know,
freelancer.
right?
It allows you to focus on honing your craft and building a solid foundation for your business.
You would think that would be the happily ever after, right?
Hmm.
But here's where it gets a little tricky.
Uh,
Nick fell into a trap that I think a lot of us can relate to.
okay.
The burnout trap.
Ah, yes.
fell?
The dark side of the hustle.
Yeah,
It's so easy to get caught up in the momentum, especially when you're passionate and the money's rolling in.
right.
But it's a reminder that even when you're doing what you love, setting boundaries and prioritizing self-care is crucial for long-term success.
He was working 16, 20-hour days, sacrificing his personal life,
Oh, wow.
pretty much everything else.
Yeah,
It's almost like he was addicted to the hustle.
I get it.
And eventually something had to give, so he made a move that seemed like a step up at the time, but actually ended up being a bit of a detour.
Okay.
He took an internship at Facebook.
Facebook, that's a pretty big deal.
Right.
The stability of a corporate gig, a steady paycheck, the name recognition.
Mhm.
It's definitely tempting, especially after the roller coaster of freelancing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And he did well there. He climbed the ladder, learned a lot,
Yeah.
but there was something missing.
What was it?
He felt creatively stifled, like that spark was fading.
Yeah.
He missed the freedom and passion of working for himself.
It's the age-old dilemma, the stability of corporate versus the creative freedom of freelancing.
Yeah.
It sounds like Nick was realizing that his heart truly lay with being his own boss.
And then life threw him another curveball. His wife became pregnant.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Talk about a game changer.
Yeah.
Suddenly the stakes were higher,
Right.
and he needed to figure out what kind of future he wanted for his family.
Becoming a parent definitely shifts your priorities.
For sure.
It's no longer just about you. It's about providing stability and a good life for your children.
Mhm.
It makes you rethink your career path and what truly matters.
He's got a crossroads.
Yeah.
Stay in the comfort of Facebook or take a leap of faith and go back to what he truly loved.
Tough choice.
What would you do?
It's a tough call, but sometimes those major life events force us to make the decisions we've been putting off, you know?
Yeah.
They push us outside our comfort zones and remind us what's truly important.
Right.
So what path did Nick choose?
He chose passion.
Wow.
He quit Facebook and dove headfirst back into freelance work.
Good for him.
But this time, he did something completely unexpected.
What's that?
He chose to remain totally anonymous.
Wait, anonymous?
Yeah.
In the age of social media influencers and personal branding, that's a bold move. I'm intrigued.
Yeah.
What was his reasoning behind that?
There were a few things at play.
Okay.
He wanted to shield his family from any judgment or pressure, especially since they weren't always on board with his career choices.
Mhm.
He also wasn't a fan of attention and preferred to let his work speak for itself.
It's almost like he was creating a mystique around himself.
Yeah.
Letting the quality of his work be the sole focus.
Right.
It's a fascinating approach and definitely makes you wonder if it actually helped him cut through the noise.
So he sets up shop on Twitter,
Okay.
but instead of just showcasing his portfolio, he takes a different approach.
Right.
He starts offering design critiques, roasting landing pages,
Uh-huh.
those web pages designed to get people to sign up or buy something,
Right.
and just sharing valuable insights.
That's a brilliant strategy. He's providing value upfront, establishing himself as an expert, and building an audience without even revealing his face.
Right.
It's like the anti-influencer.
Exactly, and people loved it. His sharp wit and design expertise attracted a loyal following.
Nice.
Then he launched his first product, a design kit with 50 landing pages.
Okay.
But here's the kicker. He initially priced it at just $9.
$9. That's practically giving it away. Was he trying to go viral or something?
It was a clever strategy. He wanted to make it accessible,
Right.
get it into the hands of as many people as possible, and prove the value he could offer.
Mm-hmm.
Then, as he gained traction and confidence, he gradually increased the price,
Okay.
testing the market's willingness to pay.
Makes sense.
It went from $9 to $50, then $100, and finally settled at $300.
That's a classic pricing strategy.
Yeah.
Start low to gain momentum and then gradually increase as you build value and demand.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great lesson for anyone selling digital products.
Yeah.
Did it work?
Oh, yeah, people were still buying.
Wow.
He was pulling in $6,000, $7,000 a month from this one product alone.
That's the beauty of digital products, right?
Yeah,
The potential for scalability is huge.
totally.
Create it once, sell it multiple times, and watch the income roll in.
But do you know what they say? More money, more problems.
Oh, here we go again.
The burnout monster reared its ugly head again.
Oh no, not again.
Yeah.
I guess old habits die hard even when you're working for yourself.
Right.
What triggered it this time?
He was juggling 12 projects at once.
Oh, wow.
Trying to do everything himself.
Yeah.
It was a recipe for disaster.
Definitely.
Luckily, he had a friend, another designer named Alex,
Okay.
who stepped in with a game-changing suggestion.
Okay, I'm all ears. What did Alex propose?
Alex said, Nick, why don't we team up and create a premium design subscription service?
Interesting.
They called it BIG.
Okay.
And it was essentially a way for businesses to get ongoing design support for a monthly fee.
That's a smart move.
Yeah.
It creates recurring revenue and builds a more stable income stream than one-off projects.
Right?
Plus, it caters to businesses that need consistent design help but might not have the budget for a full-time designer.
Exactly.
Was Nick on board right away?
He was hesitant at first.
Understand.
He wasn't sure if businesses would be willing to pay a premium price for ongoing design support.
It's understandable to that doubts, especially when you're venturing into new territory, but sometimes all it takes is that one client to validate your idea.
Right.
So how did Big land its first customer?
It all started with a single tweet.
Okay.
Nick put out a call for businesses looking for top-notch design support.
Mm-hmm.
And wouldn't you know,
Yeah.
a client reached out.
Nice.
They landed their first big deal for a cool $4,317 a month.
Talk about the power of a well-crafted tweet. It just goes to show that even with anonymity, building an online presence and putting yourself out there is crucial.
It's like that saying, build it and they will come. But in this case, it was more like, tweet it and they will pay.
Right.
And that was just the beginning.
Okay.
Big took off like a rocket.
Give us the numbers. I want to hear how this anonymous designer built $1 million business.
Okay, buckle up. In August, they hit $24,000 in monthly recurring revenue.
Okay.
That's MRR for those in the business world.
Yeah.
It basically means how much money they were bringing in each month, consistently.
Solid start, but I have a feeling it gets even better.
Oh, it gets way better.
Okay.
By September, they doubled that to $48,000 a month.
Wow.
Then in October, they blew past that, hitting $94,000.
Hey.
And by December, over $120,000 a month.
Hold on. So in just a few months, they went from zero to a multi-six-figure business with just 2 guys and a Twitter account? That's insane.
It really is.
Wow.
It makes you wonder, would they have seen this kind of rapid growth if Nick hadn't embraced anonymity?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Did it somehow make him more relatable or his work seem even more desirable?
Right.
It's definitely an interesting question.
It is. There's something intriguing about the mystery, you know?
Yeah.
The focus solely on the work itself.
Right.
It could definitely be a factor in their success. But let's not forget the hustle, the talent, and the smart business decisions they made along the way.
For sure.
This wasn't just luck. It was a combination of factors coming together perfectly.
And remember Nick's dad,
Yeah.
the one who wasn't sure those computer scribbles would ever amount to anything.
Right.
Well, when Nick finally revealed his success, his dad was floored.
Oh.
He actually apologized for ever doubting him.
That's a beautiful full circle moment. It shows that sometimes even the people closest to us need to see the tangible results of our unconventional paths before they can fully understand and appreciate them.
Yeah.
And it's a reminder that success can change perspectives and bring people closer together.
So what could we learn from this anonymous design superstar? Well, Nick emphasizes a few key things.
Okay.
First, trust the process.
Mm-hmm.
Success rarely happens overnight.
Right.
It takes time, dedication, and a willingness to keep learning and adapting.
He also talks about the importance of focusing on your craft and not getting distracted by shiny objects.
Yeah.
In the world of online business, it's easy to get caught up in the latest trends or strategies.
Right.
But ultimately, it's about delivering value and consistently honing your skills.
And of course, he encourages people to embrace anonymity if that feels right for them.
Mm-hmm.
It's about finding what works for you, what allows you to thrive creatively and professionally.
Right.
There's no one-size-fits-all approach to success.
Nick's story is proof of that.
Totally.
He challenged the norms, went against the grain, and carved his own path to $1 million business. It's inspiring, but it also raises some important questions.
Like what?
For example, is this level of success sustainable without burning out again? Is there a way to balance the hustle with self-care and avoid those pitfalls?
Those are great questions. And honestly, there are no easy answers.
Right.
Each entrepreneur's journey is unique, and finding that balance is an ongoing process. But Nick's story reminds us that it's possible to achieve incredible things when we combine passion, talent, and a willingness to take risks.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into the fascinating world of Nick, buzzers, I want to leave you with this thought. What resonates most with you from his story? Is it his resilience, his unique approach to building a business, or maybe his decision to remain anonymous? And more importantly, how can we apply these lessons to our own lives and careers?
What dreams are we holding back on? What unconventional paths are we too afraid to explore? Nick's journey reminds us that sometimes the greatest successes come from daring to be different, trusting our instincts, and taking that leap of faith.
And who knows, maybe anonymity is the key to unlocking a new level of creativity and freedom in your own work.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep pushing the boundaries of what's